Hello. So here we are with another video. This one was kind of an experiment uh, because, it's something that I haven't really done before. But yeah, so I've got this like smoochy kind of shape going here, sort of abstract. And we're going to fill it with nebula. Nebulas are hard. They're really hard. It seems like it would be sort of easy because it's like sort of amorphous and there's not one particular way that it's supposed to look, but it's also somehow very easy to make a nebula that doesn't look like a nebula. So this is a little practice for me too. Um, Now my watercolor set did not come with black, so I have a special tube of black specifically for this. Oh, and other things. So you'll see throughout this that the first step to nebula making is to make the paper wet. Just as wet as it will take without being super warpy and gross. So yeah, like here, put the water down and then kind of sprinkle in the color so that it bleeds into each other. Because you want to have that sort of amorphous look. So you want the colors to bleed a little bit. And similarly, when I add in the black, we want the black to sort of bleed into the color so that it looks like it's fading out into the space. More water. I really like green, and I feel like I don't get to use it that often. I guess I used it a lot in the last video, but that's an exception. It's not something you think about seeing out in space because we associate green with, plant life and things like that that so far we've only found on Earth. But it's out there. I mean, there are lots of chemicals and substances that burn green, and this nebula is full of them. More water. Or I think this is the last one, the last big one. Look at me being smart using my lighter colors first. It's a big rule of watercolor. Lighter colors first. I am not always good at that rule, but in this case I did it. Yay! Yeah, like my first one I used the orange first instead of the yellow. Yeah, though I sort of decided to use the yellow spontaneously afterward. So I guess I shouldn't feel as bad about that. I sort of enjoy the like swoopiness of the like general shape. It's kind of an interesting thing. But I don't know if I'll be doing this a lot. I have I have trouble being random. I really like things to just have patterns and be predictable. So, which is part of why nebulas are hard. I want them to have structure, and they want to have a little bit of structure, but just a little bit. So, yeah. But yeah, as far as this shape goes, it's an interesting, it's an interesting experiment, but I don't think I would watch out for, me doing this a lot. I do like these little bits in between. I feel like they kind of pull everything together a little bit more rather than it feeling just like a bunch of spotty nebulas. Yeah, as far as nebulas versus nebulae, I think both are acceptable. Um, when it's written, I pretty universally see it as nebulae, and then when people talk, I almost always hear it nebulas. So, meh, I accept both. So we got just like a little more black into some of these places. And we let it dry. And we're coming back in. Now this is part of making the nebulas have a little more structure. Coming in with the same colors, but just making much more concentrated parts and structures. I think it makes a big difference, honestly. Um, like I said, it gives it this more solid feeling, whereas like right now they kind of feel like too amorphous, like they're just fading away into nothing. But when you come back and give them those hard edges, that's when you start to get the sense that this is a physical object. Do I look at real nebulas while I am working on my nebulas? No, I do not. Um, I am a human copy machine. I will copy whatever I see, and I would rather practice at least trying to come up with my own sort of things. Because, yeah, if I'm looking at something, I will copy certain structures out of it, and like I'm sure it would look fine, but I don't need that. So I actually try not to look for inspiration. So getting some crimson structures in here. I was kind of hoping that those would blend a little bit more and I'd get more purple. That was not really the case. Maybe it blended a little bit. There's sort of like a lavender color here and there, but oh well. I just have to mix my purple like a normal person. That's kind of annoying. Like I understand sets that come with just the primary colors and they're like, you need to make your own colors. Okay. But this one came with like everything except purple, which is kind of annoying to me. I really like the springy green. It's not super great for these structure things because it's so light anyway, but I'm doing it anyway. So, by the way, I have no idea why there would be so many nebulae like chilling together. That doesn't really make any sense whatsoever. But it's Amelia, and we halfway make things up and go with it. So we're letting this dry a little bit. I came in with the black again to sort of unstructure some of these brush strokes. Didn't want it to look like the nebula were being painted around. All right, so now that those are dry, come in for stars. And this is my preferred method for stars. I've done the like thwacky paintbrush thing before. First of all, I have not found a good way to do that with the Chinese white, the white watercolor. It's really only ever worked for me with acrylic. Um, but there's a lot, it's just really annoying. There's a lot of like trial and error. Um, and for a finished piece, I don't really want trial and error. I just want it to work. Plus, with something like this, I would end up having stars like outside the wobbly area, which you probably wouldn't be able to tell from the like pictures or anything, but yeah, it would matter to me. So here, coming in with my trusty gel pen, just putting in some larger, brighter stars. Maybe it doesn't make as much of a difference from far away, but I like it. Should have put some planets in here. Why not, right? And here, the most important piece of all is Amelia, of course. I really like drawing her tiny. Little tiny drawings are kind of my thing. I like that when you're drawing really tiny, you can give sort of the general idea of something with small lines and dots, and you get a very good sense of the actual thing you're trying to do. So in this case, the only color I'm adding to her is black for her face, of course, and red for her antenna and wrists. Probably could have left her wrists alone, but that's okay. Yeah, I had a thought the other day that maybe I would try and do something bigger with her, like a big poster or something. Yeah, I don't do well big. I draw tiny. That's my ideal thing. I really like these little like one-offs because they're small and contained. And with that, it is all finished. Thanks for watching.